Hey, we're in. Let's turn this music off. I know that impedes the stream at times, and it certainly does steal up some energy from other processes. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Starting late. Chilling. What else? Checking some messages real quick before we get started. I'll write some code today. I don't want to check messages publicly. Bring that over here. Just kind of hanging out. Let's get this. We're making a team tracker for the playthrough of Pokemon Red that we're doing right now. Of course, if I take much longer, we may be ready by the time we hit gold and silver. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure yet. Well, let's get it up and running so we can see what we have so far. I think today what we'll do is really work on what? Getting our grid set, because this is too big. We need 6 boxes. And then I think, yeah, we do want the level to be able to change within the box. I think that's fine. Yeah. Why is his name undefined? We'll figure it out. There are plenty of games to play through. I'm excited. And this we're designing it to be pretty wildly extensible. So I'm excited. Should be good. I'm actually having a hard time collecting my head. We're trying to remember where we were, as far as where we left off with last stream. I know that this red blue is going to go away. It's a little rough on the eyes. Let's just start with the grid. CSS grid, and I want to do a 3x2 grid. This is how I'm. What up, Seabass? Let's see. This is cool. This is how I do this. This is terrible. Understanding grid lines. I can't remember anything about CSS grid, so you'll have to. Maybe you'll have to excuse me. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, of course. Grid column. You can rewrite these shorthand. What's the result? What are they doing here? I see. They're positioning this item in that grid. Okay. Your first grid. This is much better. Why are we here? This is kind of nice though. I've not been here. Mozilla developers.github.io. I'll throw this in the. Yep. That's it. That's the most important tool. I'll throw this up on the Twitch. Seems like that's where most of us are today. So that's the documentation that I'm looking at currently, if you're following along. So create a grid. Let's see. Grid template columns, grid template rows. There are several ways to define rows and columns. For our first grid, I'm going to zoom in so that y'all can see, first of all. For our first grid, we'll use properties grid template columns and grid template rows. This is exactly what we want, actually. These properties allow us to define the size of the rows and columns for our grid. To create 2 fixed height rows of 150 and 3 fixed width columns of 150, simply write. And I don't think that this is what we'll use. as far as the width of the columns, but this is a good place to start. So this is where we'll start. And I'm just going to save this snippet. I'm going to throw it into this style.css and comment it out so we don't run. What is going on here? I don't know what. Oh. Did I get rid of that while I was here? No. There we go. Comment it out right away. We're just grabbing it so that we have it. We still have to write the markup for this. And so here we go. Let's put the markup for the grid on the page. This is echoey. Why do I even have these on? Sorry. I just realized I don't actually need those. So we need this entire Flex container to be in one of the grid things. So what we'll do here is we'll just set up a div class equal to grid. I'm going to call it grid container. Good, that's good. I don't know why that's perfect. There's no reason for me to use those right now. I'm not like running music or anything. If I do, it screws my bandwidth. So I'll call this the grid container. We'll close it, and then we'll what will we do? Throw this inside of that container. And then we can come over here and on the grid container throw this in, and that should get us covered. Right? Maybe not. I could be mistaken. It's been a while since I wrote grid as well. So let's head over to CSS Tricks to make sure I'm doing this correctly. We could also go grid lines, okay, and that, grid cell, great, grid area. Okay, your first grid. Are they going to tell me? Okay. Well, I have to, okay, so each of these flex containers, perfect. I can just say, what, item, can I just call each one an item? Okay, display grid. Oh, I have to put display grid on it. That'd be cool. I bet you that's all that's wrong. Maybe? We'll see. But it does help to put the display property you're trying to use onto the thing that you're trying to use it on. It's a little bit better. So what's happening now? What's happening now is everything is overflowing containers. We need to pull this up. We need to pull up our inspector, the browser inspector, and we'll kind of take a look at. I'm actually going to put it down on the bottom. Oof, it is so chug-a-luggy. Let's look. Yeah, see, so our grid is there. It's just that everything, you see it? There's our grid, right? It's just that everything that's inside of one of these grid containers, right, is going to overflow it. So we need to figure that part out now. Which, first of all, we know that. What do we know? We don't know anything. So there's our grid container. Inside of the grid container is a flex container. That flex container, right, is what's overflowing. Yeah, each member, or it's going to overflow the member of the thing that it's in. It doesn't look like the container is overflowing it though. It's the children. Yeah. It's the children that are in that container that are overflowing. The flex container. So we have a few we have some levels going on that maybe we need to correct, but we'll work there. We'll work to get there. So let's work. Here's our grid. We're inside the grid, right? Yeah. This is the grid. And actually, I'm going to start giving these IDs? Unique IDs? Or do I want to give them all classes and then just... we're going to have to do some... well, I mean, we're gonna do some work today. Let's see. We might get rid of a lot of this already. Yeah, so and as a rule, right, I keep classes to CSS and then IDs to JavaScript, but I'm thinking like what do I want to like call this like item 1 or slot 1? Give it that class name? Is there a reason that I would want to do that? Because what I'm thinking is like that's normally for if I'm going to be moving the grid items around. And I'm not going to be necessarily moving the grid items around on the grid. I'm going to be... So I'll just keep that there. I probably will end up making another class later, right? We may end... Actually, I'm going to take some pressure off of us right now. Was that the most evil thing ever? No. But I do think we need to simplify in here because I think this is overwhelming right now. What we'll do is we'll gut this for right now. We can always come back. It's not a big deal. I don't want to call this a flex container anymore. What's the default display value inside of the grid? Inside of the grid cell, you know what I mean? Does anyone know the answer to that? What's the default display property inside a grid cell? I'm just going to say grid cell. CSS. Here we go. It's one of those things I love and I hate because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And it's one of those things that's so easily misused, right? I think. So which is why I always take a little bit of time when I'm doing CSS, just to be sure that oh my gosh, see, this is even better. I love this. Display. This is our container, our grid container. Do we want to even keep it more simplistic? No, we'll be fine. So there's that. Good. Grid, template, rows. Track size could be a length. And line name can be an arbitrary name. Let's start there. And actually I want to widen these a little bit. So let's look. What do we have? For our columns, I want to go as wide as 300 pixels. 250 pixels. That's 750 across. I think that's good. Give us a little bit more real estate. I think it'll give us enough space for what we're wanting to do here. Get rid of this for right now. We'll come back to that logic here in a moment. This is so me right now. As far as just, you know. Alright, we're gonna call each of the things that are inside of this grid just each of these things is going to be, and there's going to be 6 of them, right? I'm going to give them borders as well so that we can see them. But let's just give them a generic class to start off with. I'm just going to say the same thing as they do, item. We'll close off that div and copy and alrighty. So each of those items is going to be, should now be in that grid. We can verify by coding some style on those items. Item, and I'm just going to put a radius, a border on them with the border shorthand that we learned earlier. 2 pixel, solid, black. Oop. And then I'm going to give it a border radius of that 5 pixel. It kind of gives it that classic single line Pokemon border that was on, I think it was just on Gen 2 when you could start changing those border lines. Awesome. So that's exactly what we want, actually. Below this, I'm going to put a, well, let's put some, what's it, a margin around this. Margins, and then 1 EM. How's that look? Too wide. What's EMs again? M's and REMs. It says something to do with the screen size relative to the font. We're zoomed in considerably, right? Or no? No, not on this page. So we're good to go. This is good. This is a great place to be. But actually, now that I'm looking at this layout, right? I like everything about the grid container. I think that's perfect. What do y'all think about now putting onto the left side of this grid container, kind of where you're seeing this box overflow? Let me see if I can move this up in the output so that you're able to see a little bit better. Can I put this down? Monitors, where is it? No, that's not what I wanted, sir. There, now you're able to see. So we'll effectively just move this over to this side of the page, right? Causing this to be here, this white chunk to be here. Actually, we can just throw the grid container inside of another container that's a master container. I know this sounds awful, but it's not. It's not. This is what you do with layouts. That's how good layouts are made, and that's the same thing with if you're going to rely on Most of this is myself talking out loud so that I can reassure myself like these aren't bad coding practices. This is just the same as if you were to bring in a framework and let the framework do the work for you. So, I was going to say, well, maybe we bring in pure CSS, yada, 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 but pure CSS is just a CSS framework built on top of Flexbox. No, on top of Grid. So we'd be effectively doing the same thing over and over again, and you know, oof, that's terrible. I just brushed my teeth not too long ago, so Gatorade after you brush your teeth. Yeah, let's get this moved over. So what we'll do here is we'll put another div. I'm using divs because it's, again, a generic layout tool. This is not anything that's affecting accessibility, what have you. This is something that's, let's just call this the builder container. That works for me. Because this is a team builder or a move tracker, team move tracker, what's upcoming next. By the time, like I said, by the time we're done, it's not even gonna matter. But we'll make it more extensible. We'll keep this going. We'll add to it. It's a work in progress now. It won't always be. And then watch. We'll add another div on this side of the page, and we'll call this class selector. I don't know. Let's give it some style. So the builder container, first of all, needs some style too. And I'm going to go with something easy for it. I'm just going to give it a display flex. So now it's going to take on Flexbox. Okay. And it's just going to make things easier to lay out. This is what we call the selector. I'm going to 100% be changing that class name because I hate it. It's not indicative of what I really... Well, I mean, it is, right? Are y'all still seeing that on the overlay? I apologize. Let me click out. There we go. So it's not. It is what it is, right? It is going to be the Pokemon selector. It's just going to be a fancy search box, and it's going to ask like, where do you want to put this Pokemon relative to the spot on the grid? So I guess it is a selector, but maybe we call it the selector container. Let's do that, just for the sake of continuity. We're calling everything else a container. I like keeping it. Keeping it consistent. All right. The selector container, same thing. We'll give it all of this. Copy, paste it, copy pasted that crap in there, and you can see it. It doesn't have anything in it, so naturally with what? Well, those aren't. But if we were to throw something in there, it would take on the size of anything that we put in. That said, I'm just going to give it a max width 250. How about pixels? What if I say width auto? No. So max width, why didn't max width work here? Max width didn't work there because there's nothing in there. Max width only works if you have something inside of the basically max width dictates the limit by which that container or element is allowed to grow before you tell it to stop. So with width, you're giving it this is like, it's not going one way or the other. It's always going to be 250 pixels max width. Basically, what it's doing is it's going to be responsive up to 250 pixels. And if you like to give me feedback on that definition, I am happy to accept it, because that may have been a crap kind of explanation of the difference between width and max width in CSS. We can also pull up docs, right? So we don't have to guess. I like going to Mozilla. Just type Mozilla CSS. Perfect. And then you can look to see what's the difference between width, CSS property, that sets an element's width. By default, it sets the width of the content area. So basically what that's saying is it's setting, we talked about box model last time, right? I'll use the thing again, or see if I can, right? So it's talking about it's the width of the content area rather than of the border area. All right, so the border area would be the area to the outside of this border on the webcam. The content area is like, pretend I was the content. You're assigning width to me, unless you're using box sizing set to border box, in which case it would set the width to the. This is an important thing to keep in mind, and something that I actually did not know of. Let's look, check it. So this is a box where you can change the width. Great, that's fine. I want to. Can I add to this? Yeah, box sizing border box. Does it take additional? What if I say width 250 pixels? Is it making a difference? What if I say 350 pixels? I don't think this is doing anything. Anyway, so there's width. We'll look at max width now. There it is. Max width is a CSS property that sets the maximum width of an element. It prevents the used value of the width property from becoming larger than the value specified by max width. So what? What does that mean? It prevents the used value of the width property from becoming larger than the value specified by the. So basically, like, I don't want this thing to get any bigger than this. Is what it is exactly what it's saying. So if I change the max width to what, 21M, 22, 23, is it doing anything? 15? Nothing. The width of that box must be what? Something different. Okay, I see. Okay. I think we all see. Anyway, let's get back to this. This is good. I enjoy this layout. It looks appealing to me. Let's get to work on what's inside the selector container, I guess. It's a little boring, but I think it's the meat and potatoes of what we need to do today. Do we just want to name these as well? give them their IDs for the JavaScript. Each of these IDs need to be unique. That's the thing about IDs, is IDs need to be unique. So make sure that your IDs are unique. Unique, I mean that they're all different. Did I mention that these IDs need to be unique? Sounds like a kid is up. I have a 9-year-old that's entering into his preteen, like, doesn't wake up phase. And so it could legit be like, and we're homeschooling now, so like sometimes it could legit be like, where is that dude? It's 9 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, not actually not 9 o'clock in the afternoon, but that's what it feels like, you know what I mean? I want to call this something different. We're changing the generic names to something that's more suitable to what we're doing with it, you know? So, makes more sense that way. To us. To anyone else looking, maybe it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Good deal. That's where I'll stop with this. Okay, so we need some navigational items now. Something that is going to help help the user get to where they need to go effectively. And so we'll put this as a H1 tag, and we'll call this Team Builder. All of our fonts should be good to go. Good. And so what we'll do, we're going to set for this selector container some sort of inside margin, I think. Or inside padding, right? Not margin. Ha. How big is this? This is, it has a width of 250 pixels. Does it? That doesn't look like 250 pixels to me. And that's because what? Because our screen is not 250 pixels. And so, where is the width of our screen? Let's see. Um, 959. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, so this is not going to be 250 pixels. So in this case, this is where you would, right, set the max width. And now it's going to take on the width of whatever's in the box. That's what it was. Let's give this a class too. We'll just call this header. That's fine. I don't want to call it a header because it's not a header. It's not a title. What is this? Yeah, it's kind of a title. Alright, whatever. This is in the selector container, right? Yeah, so I like to keep everything organized like this. I don't even remember what we called it already, so I'm going to call it something easier because this is ridiculous. Heading. Heading is fine for me. Because I'll tell you why. I don't want that to be that size. So let's say font size. Let's see what this does for us. Oh, you see? That's already nicer. What else? What else font sizes do we have? Medium, even, prettier. We'll just go with that. I'm sure that these font sizes probably have something to do relative to the size of the page that you're on and the default font size of the page and things like that. But I just really don't care to look into it right now, to be honest with you. Sorry, Jimmy's mom. Let's give this a padding of that as well. That's fun. I like it. And then let's what's it called? Align. Text align. Center. I don't think that did anything. But it looks fine. It's good. Yeah, that's good. Y'all like that? That's all right. Slow going. All right. Next thing we need inside of this is something that searches the Pokemon name. So, input, type, text. That's not right? There's nothing right about that. That's not doing anything for us right now. But it is taking input. Is it? Yeah, it is. But it's really shiesty as far as code is. Label for name input. ID equal, and this is how we're going to tie it, right? Isn't that how we do that? I could be wrong, and that's fine. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to pull up the Mozilla docs in a second. But I think this is right. Either way, I'm going to pull up the Mozilla docs. How about that? Input. I want to check it for accessibility more than anything. And then two, I may give those input labels a class just so that we have what? Excuse me. Input type text. Apologies for the load time. Label for name, ID, name. There we go. We'll also give it a name. Name input. I'm going to be a little bit more specific here. Pokemon name. Beat the crap out of my space bar. It's all ouch. Alright. That's fine. I'm not happy with the styling, but we'll work on the styling later. So, okay, so then what? So then each of these boxes as well, each of these slots, which we're going to rename from item to like box slot or team slot. I like that better. Each of those is going to be like a flex container with a picture on one side, and then a field on the other side that has something that accepts a level input, and then on change it changes the moves that are displayed, the upcoming moves that are displayed for the Pokemon. Yeah? I have to go to the bathroom here in a second. But I want to continue coding though, so I'm not going to cut it off at an hour or anything. And besides, I was late. But I will BRB. So hang tight. I appreciate you hanging with me and learning. I'm confident that we'll get some more good work done, but I need to use the bathroom. So bear with me. Appreciate you for hanging out. I'll be right back. Mm-hmm. Alright, let's get back to it. Move further down now. So I need to move that further down. Here we go. Where are y'all at? There we go. Thanks for hanging in. Alrighty. So let's start on that first. The thing that kind of selects each box. What we'll do is we'll as well kind of put maybe some sort of indicator around the box that we've selected, or inside the box that we've selected. Maybe another border, a highlight. We're gonna highlight the box. We'll just for right now we'll just color the box red, and we'll think about what we want to do later on in the actual build to accommodate whatever. Let's see. This is also going to be an input, right? We'll call it label 4 equal box. Let's call it the slot selector, right? Because that's what we slot select, right? Great. Select a slot. I don't like that. Anyway. We need to also kind of mess with the rule between, but that's fine too. This will be another input, right? Type will be it's going to be number, right? No. It'll just be you know what we ought to do? Yeah, we're gonna make this hella accessible. I mean, it's going to be. I'm not doing it right because it's select. We could also populate these options dynamically. We don't have to. So let's just do this. Should we call these positions? I don't know. Is everyone fine with this terminology? Slot? I mean, it doesn't bother me, but it kind of bothers me. Ta-da. Not 13. Thank you. And lastly, slot 6. Great. How do we change the font in there to be that? That's what I want to know. We'll work on that later. That's not important right now. We'll actually to do something to the effect of like almost like maybe an annotation, like a box annotation or something. To give these each number to make it a little bit more intuitive. Something like that. Like idea. Alrighty. Now this looks great. This is exactly what I dreamed it would be. Alright, let's see. What do we want to do here now? We need to do something with it. Alright, so now we'll look at making a JavaScript function that uses this. And this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that makes the most sense. Let's give these slots numbers, just like that for right now, so that we are able to easily identify. I like that. Oh, I kind of dig that, just the way that looks off the bat. Why is that not showing up? There it is. Why do I do that? Why do I not put caps in my class names. I don't know. It's just weird convention that I follow personally. And then I camel case my. I think it's just because of the nuance of the language. JavaScript, for some reason, seems like it plays better that way. Oh, I need to go back and rename these all team slot, right? Yeah. There we go. Are we there? Are you gonna respond? Thank you. Excellent. What we'll do now is we'll write a JavaScript function that looks at this selector. Document.getElement by ID. Let's write a function. Let's just start writing the function, see if we can get it to work. If it doesn't work, oh, F me, man. I don't even know. JK. What is this doing? Y'all, I have no idea what's going on with this JavaScript anymore. Did I knock this out last time? What did I do? Y'all. I think we had been working through some of the JavaScript, and it's just, I don't know, wild. Okay, let's say, function select slot document dot. Actually, what do we want to do? Is everyone good with the size of the code? I need to expand, don't I? There we go. Let's do a side-by-side view here. Oh my goodness. You got this, buddy. Come on, little pro. I'll close this. We don't need to look at it anyway. Okay. So we want to what? Look at this slot select. And then when slot 1 is selected, we want to highlight slot 1. Or when slot 1 is chosen, let's see. Let's first just do something simple so that we know that we're in the right spot, the right train of thought. Right? Right. Alrighty. Let's say let selected slot equal document dot get element by ID slot selector dot this is actually not the slot selector, right? We need to then assign that here. So what is this? This will be like an on change. Let's see. Let's just look up how to make a selector. Y'all can tell that I don't do this very often. But here we are. Yo, is that it? Yo, we could just go to the docs at Mozilla. We don't need to do anything fancy. Input type. How about, let's look at select. Thank you. Think about it. Come on, Mar. See. We need to give these options values. Important. So glad that documentation is there to save our butts so often. Honestly. The docs. You can go away. Thanks, pal. Jeez. Taking up space, just sitting there. Just looking at you. I'm going to take these spaces out from between because they're causing me problems. I have some speed tricks that I like to do and I can't do them with them there. It's not really a trick. There we go. Great. So that's the first thing, right? Autocomplete, autofocus. I don't want to autocomplete it, but we will be autocompleting up here in the text field eventually for the Pokemon name search. I do want to put like something that like autocompletes for that because I think that's, you know. Advanced select with multiple functions, I don't want that. Customizing your select styles, I don't want to look at that. Oh, here we go. Here's our JavaScript. Custom query selector all. Ooh, forecast stuff. Ooh, this is cool. Well, let's just look at the query selector first. Is this though, I don't know anything about selects. I want to know what do I want to know? What do I want to know? I want to know, should I put something on my HTML tag or do I just want to put like, yeah, no, let's just put this here. And then what? So I grabbed it, it's there, right? So I would be able to know. Let's see. So I'm on the slot selector, right? Right. Do select is, basically I want to know, is it on click or on change? Yeah. So if it, I think it's the on change of the option value, right? I don't want to look at that. Here we go. Change event. I think this is right. I'm gonna give it the on change event afterward though, right? Yeah. See? Select element. Y'all, I'm so glad we looked at this. Here we go. This is giving me so much more. We don't need it here, first of all. Do we not need it there? We need to throw it down here. So basically what it's doing right now is we're going to we're gonna look up the element now. Slot selector is document dot. They use query selector. I'm gonna use. Why do they use query selector? Oh, because they're calling it by the class. I'm not. I'm gonna use get element by ID because I know the ID is slot select. Do I need a her there? Or no? I don't think so. I think that's right. Slot select. Tor, right? Yeah. Dot. Add event listener. And then what event listener do we want? We want the change event listener. And then when we feed in an event, we want to do what? This is basically creating an anonymous function. And it's saying when this thing sees an event, right? When the slot selector that we just grabbed from our HTML, whenever it sees an event, we want to do something with that event. What is this const result? Oh, I see. Well, I don't want that. We can just console log it, so that's fine. We don't need that. We can console log for now. Event dot target dot value. So now it's going to look at whatever is inside of these slots, and actually that's fine. I'm happy with that. Let's go see if it works. Go here. Not doing anything. Probably because I'm not using this document.getElement by ID correctly. I'm gonna look at that now. No. That's correct. Slot select. It's called slot select. Yeah. It's called slot select. Is it that I can't have that there? I can change it. I just don't know. Like, am I not allowed to use .getElement by ID? And if so, why? I just don't think that's the case. Maybe I haven't saved yet. Let's see. Result. Text content. You like something. What if I just console log hi for right now? I just want to see if it's working at all. Is anything happening when I change this? I don't even know that it's connected right now. Let's see. Uh-oh. Can I break it? Look. Yeah. See? There we go. Now it should be doing something. Cool. So was it doing something this entire time? Let's find out. Save. It refreshes. I get an error. Perfect. What I want. There we go. and now it's pushing those values. So now, though, I want to do like a document dot what document dot get element my ID, and then these values, right, should be the same as these IDs. And so long as the values are the same as these IDs, we can say where value is equal to ID. Where value is equal to ID, change the background color just so that we can see something, right? Keep your eyes out for those code changes. I will be posting the code soon. I'll push it out there to Facebook later on today. But otherwise, I think I'm going to go ahead and log out. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. You folks make the stream, so it's really important that you're here, and I appreciate the chill time. I appreciate building stuff. I enjoy building things with y'all, and I hope to see you again. I think the next codecast ought to be sooner than it probably is scheduled, just because they're good. Codecasts are good. Let's just keep going. I don't know. I don't feel like logging off quite yet. Yeah, if y'all want to hang out longer, that's cool too. I'll continue to make some changes to some code here. Is there any way to get rid of this sidebar? I don't want that. Let's see. Let's look at this JavaScript over here. Alrighty. Is there a way I can just dynamically go through these? So like, I want to go like this. This is some pseudo right now. I don't even know if this is gonna work. So what are you doing, bro? It's just infinite. I wonder what that was. What is slot selector at this point? Maybe if I open slot selector and I understand what it is, right here, I can. It's nothing. What do you mean it's nothing? Oh, there it is. Where am I at with this? I think I'm losing some steam, some momentum. That's where I'm at. let's see. For each JavaScript on HTML select. Do you see that? The next thing was the HTML select option. Bam. That's what I want to know. I think that we could do this way. Maybe? I do that right? This is how you can tell me getting tired then. For I equal 0. I is less than the length of, oops, excuse me, slot selector length, not length, nope. Oof. I plus plus. Let's just see if it works. Yep. And a slot is going to be what? I have to say let slot be equal to slot selector index and then console log the slot. That's what I want to see for right now. Slot, maybe slot dot value. How about? Thank you. It worked. Basically, all I want to do right now. I think that that's a good place to end. We'll end right there. We'll come back tomorrow. Give it some. Not tomorrow. I don't know when we're coming back. We'll come back when we come back. Give it some color. Get some pictures. Maybe before that you'll see it. I don't know. I may feel like coding again. I just don't feel like coding in front of the camera anymore. So, anyways, thanks for hanging out. Have a great rest of the weekend. Make it restful for yourself. If you're going back to work tomorrow, remember to take some time for yourself to be restful and to, just make sure that you have the energy to face what you need to face tomorrow. Anyway, have a blessed day and